Hey there everyone, welcome back to Game Vine and back to another Cat Week video, and today we are reviewing Roar, King of the Pride from IDW. Let's do it. So Roar, King of the Pride, look at that box, isn't that just beautiful? It's about lions if you can't tell. Lions, I'm a Leo myself, so I'm kind of partial to lions, so I was super excited to pick this game up. Now it is out of print at the moment, so if you're trying to look for this game, it might be a little harder to find, but it's a game where you're trying to build up your lion, and it's an area control game with a little bit of cutthroat aspect to it, and you're trying to be the best pride that is able to sustain the pride by eating the food that is among the land and have the most points at the end of the game to be that best pride. So you're trying to control areas, you're roaring other prides out of the areas, and you're fighting them too. But you got to make sure that you watch out for those humans, because sometimes they'll come in and start some havoc as well. So without further ado, let me show you what comes in this box, this beautiful box, and then I'll tell you how to play. Let's go. So this is what comes in the box, and boy, the production value is sky high. Every one of these colors have a ton of lion meeples and two different sculptures, the blue and the males and the females. So the males have the mane, and every one of these colors I love. I would say the only one that kind of not the greatest is this blue one, but that's only because you can't pick it up on camera. I actually love every one of these colors. They're spectacular, the wood bits feel nice, and they look amazing. So thumbs up IDW on that. Now these little huts here are pretty basic, little plastic bits. That's for the humans. The dice is really cool. It's actually indented and has the imprint as well. And then you have the cards, the long one here, all linen finish, and the cardboard tokens as well for everything. The cardboard tokens are really good, so you have decent art. Most of the art is on the cards, but it's pretty minimalistic actually. I wish there was a little bit more. What art there is amazing. I love how the lions are drawn. If you wouldn't have known, you would think it was a realistic picture. I just wish there was more, because you'll see as we get to the how-to portion that the map is pretty basic too. There's just, I don't know, the art is great. I just wish there was more. Okay, so with that being said, let's show you how to play. Alright, so this is the game set up for 3 players. I've put all the tokens out that you need to. Everybody gets 2 lioness and 2 male lions to put out in order from first player to the last player. And you put the applicable scoring card for the amount of players on here, and they will score differently, which I'll let you get into that a little more in detail on your own. You give everybody their food tokens. You give them their gold cards, and you'll get 4, and you'll get you have to at least keep 1, but you can keep all 4 if you want. And of course you have your special lion card and lions. And each lion is asymmetric, has their own little power. So the brown ones here add 1 cub on a successful breeding roll. Ooh, very fertile. -1 total to food needed, because you're going to have to feed your lions after every round. And the orange, the Congo lions, move past humans unnoticed. So that's good, because sometimes you might lose lions if you run past humans, but we'll get a little more into that. But the lions that we're playing with, the blue ones right here, move up to 3 territories. They are the fast lions. These dark ones here are successfully roar and win every time, no matter what the number is. And those lions over there have an extra power and ancestral strength. They're the brutes. So what you do on a round sequence is write on the cards. I love how they have this here. The art is only on the back, but this basically breaks down everything and it lets you know what you got to do. So you'll move your first player token, which is that one over there, every time, and then you'll do an aging. So these are little cubs right here. During the breeding phase, if you have a male or a female, male and a female lion in the same place, you can put breeding tokens down, and we'll get a little more into that detail. But when aging happens, you'll flip them over and see if they're male or female, and put the corresponding token on the place where you bred. And aged your lion. So Then you'll go to human activity. This is where somebody, the person that has the least amount, will either put a human token down anywhere where there is a 6, or anywhere that's near a human token. So you'll also be taking tokens off if you put all 9 on here, because they do correspond to the applicable number of players. And then when you take the last human token off, that is the last round. So that basically is how you can calculate how many rounds are left. And then you do the ancestral track. You will either sacrifice a male line or not, and if you do, you put them over here, and now you have 2 main power to all your male lines going forward. Basically, you're passing on your genes to the next male. And then the actual player's turn, you take 2 actions, and we'll actually go through all the actions a little bit later, but you'll take 2 actions of the ones that are here, and you can take 2 of the same or 2 different ones. And then the starvation, that's when you'll calculate the food. You have to put 1 food for each female and 2 food for each male, and if you can't do that, then you can basically take a lion away and get the applicable food. So 2 for the male you don't have to pay, and 1 for a female that you don't have to pay. If you're in the area, the food number here will correspond to what you are gaining. Now if you don't have enough, you also can use your food tokens as +1 if you have any. So let's talk about the actions. The first one here is draw a secret card. So you'll take 2 of them from the deck and either keep none of them or both of them if you want. Basically, if you don't successfully get them, they will count against you. So they are some simple ones here. Own 3 territories that produce 2 food. You have the numbers there, and that will get you points at the end of the game. Sometimes you'll just get points for entering territory, like Egypt. So once you enter it, you'll be able to get those points. Botswana, and then there are some that are actually hindrances to you, but they will give you points. Own the least amount of females. Females rule in this game. That would be kind of crappy. I wouldn't like that card. Be the weakest in the ancestry chart. So if you're the weakest at the end of the game, you get that. Be surrounded in all areas by all opponents while in a one territory. So people might be thinking that you're crazy by going in a territory, but you're going to get 3 points, and that might make the game. So you'll go ahead and draw those and keep those as an action. You can do that twice if you want. And then you'll do the movement. Basically, you get to move 2 spots with any pride. So we can take all these people pride here and move 2 spaces that are adjacent, or we can just take 1 out of here if you like, and or do like that if you want. You can move twice if you want to, adding up to 4 different moves. Now if you want to sneak, that is if you want to go through an actual area that has lines in it, you'll have to go ahead and sneak. When you pass through a pride of lines, you are okay to do that, but if you pass through humans, because they will be getting populated, you'll have to lose a line when moving. I don't know what happens to him, but he goes away. And then you got the breed action. You can do that a couple times, but you have to have a female line and a male line in the same spot, and then you can roll this dice here, and it has different numbers on it, and that's how many cubs you'll be putting in that spot. 1, 2, or 3, or this plus here, which will give you this token, and you can add this plus to anything. Number of cubs, number of movements, number of cards. It's just basically a plus. Or you can roar at another pride and convert a female, so the larger pride will win and convert a female from the red to be in their pride. Now this pride here will win roars no matter what, which is pretty cool. But if you have a larger number, you will win that roar off, which is nice to get more lions easily. Now you can also fight. In this case, you have to have a larger pride, and that will move this line away from that adjacent spot, and the pride will move in to that spot here, which is Libya. And you might want to do that because it's a really nice producing a food spot, but that was just an example. That wouldn't be a good move. Now, in the fighting, the ancestral track here will make up the strength of your male lions. So each male line in the dark blue pride is worth 2 strength, and each female is always worth 1, which is lame because they're better hunters, but whatever. So in this case, this pride is strong by 5 because the male is 2, and the 3 females is 8. And the 3 female are 5. So this red male here, he is worth 2 because he's got 2 ancestral down there, but he is way outmatched by this pride, so he easily lost. That's essentially it. You'll continue to do that until all these humans have been put out and then retrieved again back off the board once you do the human phase, and then you'll calculate your scores and see who is the best pride. Now let me give you my opinion on this game and to give it a grade. Let's go. Okay, so that was Roar, King of the Pride. Now this game gets an 80 from me. I enjoy it quite a bit, so it's a solid B. Now, this game can be mean. I didn't go over every role, like the role where you put a human in a spot where there are cubs. The cubs all basically get wiped out, and that's kind of dark and morbid. Basically, I think the humans are picking them off. So that is kind of mean. And of course, when you're converting the female lions over to your pride, it is a bit cutthroat. And that happens a lot when you're going back and forth and trying to control the middle areas, especially the 6 food areas. You really want those that are coveted. So in a 3-person game, depending on where your pride is, that's not going to happen as much. It may happen a little more if you're more condensed into a certain spot. Now, I haven't played this with more than 3, so I can see like a 6-player game, this really being super cutthroat and a lot of those actions being executed where they're getting rid of cubs and they are converting the female over to their pride. So you kind of got to expect that going in. If you like area control games, this is a lovely one. It's not really that long. I think it scales relatively well, and it's pretty. I wish, like I said, there was just more to the board. I like the colors and all that. It just was a bit bland. Most of the art is on this box right here, but if you're going to have the art, you want to try to that's going to be eye-catching, off the shelf, and they did a good job there. I hope this comes back into print. This does have a cat-like theme to it, so if you are into cats or lions, big cats, this executes it brilliantly. I love the theme because you're trying to just build up your prides, and that's one of my favorite parts. The little miniatures are just so epic and just nice and cut out perfectly. And like I said, the art is decent, just needs to be more abundant. The gameplay, be it a tad bit cutthroat, it's very smooth and does take a little bit of getting used to because it's a bit strung out than I would like it to be, but once you get the hang of it, it goes faster. So I like this game. It gets an 80. If you want this game, it's going to be in the link down below for Amazon, so pick it up there. It help out the channel by doing so. And if you like this video, click like, and if you haven't already, click subscribe. I really do appreciate you stopping by for this Cat Week video. Until next time that I see you, have a great rest of your day and a great time with all your play. My name is Dave, and I'm Roar Meow. Bye. Miko, it's time to go. Good girl, Miko.